live in the building right here. Hayward CPA live. Another day. You know what I'm saying? Yo, we throwing the air horn on. Yeah. Yeah. Yo, we throwing the air horn out here. That's how we get down. Another beautiful Saturday out here for all those in the whatever metaverse, wherever you are, wherever you might be right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm yo, you know what? I was coming back from the gym. Yo, man, I think I'm gonna pull the Diddy, man. Yo, I'm just gonna refer to myself as the professional accountant. That's it. Like that.
You gonna change your name?
Yeah, pro accountant. Pro act. Pro act. Yo, holla at me, man. Pro act. You know what I'm saying? So, but I am governmentally James Hayward CPA of the Platinum Group, Hayward CPA PLLC.
Platinum.
AKA Pro Act. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
But yo, we in the building today. You know what I'm saying? We got Mr. Cortastic, super spectacular Cortastic.
Yeah, you today.
Yeah. So we here today. We doing our thing. So yeah, it's another Saturday. We on here for you and yours. For those of us that are watching us live and those that are catching our syndicated replay on all channels, we like to thank you for your support. But y'all gotta send us more questions. I'm just gonna keep it 100. We need some more questions.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, we need more questions. I mean, you could, just send us questions. I think the issue is where I had them sending the questions before. I think we was having them send the questions to hello. Send them to hello, B. You know what I'm saying?
Hello what? Hello at what?
At haywardcpa.com.
There we go. Not just hello, like at hello.
Yeah, that would be hood. And be like, yeah, just at hello. I don't know my address. Just at hello. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I don't know where it is, but just hit me at hello. And we got you covered. So I'm gonna put that up in the I'm gonna put that in the comment section.
Mm-hmm.
Send us your questions. Look, yo, this is real live TV. I mean for real. This is actual fact. We doing it right. Yo, man. Wait, y'all. We doing it right now. We putting it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm everywhere. And let's show this in the broadcast though. Let's say. Yeah. Woo! Look at that. For real. Of course, you could put them in the chat and get them over to us. Because we're here to answer questions. So let's talk about the week. How was your week?
Oh, I've had a pretty interesting week. No details to follow.
Oh, I was about to say, do tell.
Nah, no, you know the details, but no details to follow.
Yeah, we ain't gonna get into details.
Yeah. Interesting week though, but productive. More of critical thinking. This has been a critical thinking week, right? Mm-hmm. To help, I guess, kind of pull things together and then get ready for the next stages of execution. So, critical thinking is still an income generating activity. That's why it's called critical thinking, right? The other thing I learned this week too, which I think I've been doing it for quite some time. But I saw something and someone put a name to it. And it's called task stacking.
Task stacking.
Yeah, like tech stacking, but
task
stacking. And the example was he went on vacation He had to stayed at an Airbnb and he had to wash his clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And he had to wait 40 minutes because he had to drive to the laundromat. And so in the midst of him waiting 40 minutes for his clothes to wash, he started knocking down some tasks, brought his computer.
Yeah, that makes
Then
sense.
when he put his clothes in the dryer, same thing.
Yeah, I
Right?
see that. I feel that.
Task stacking. That's, you know, it's different.
That is different when you put a framework around it.
Yeah, correct.
Because it's like, yo, sometimes we call it just getting it done. But when you actually think about it, you put something to it, and you're like, yo, this is a habit that I could repeat over and over.
Yeah.
And I think that's the lead into my thing about the week. Yo, this task stacking is real dope though. So you've been task stacking, is what you say?
Different from multitasking because you're doing this.
Yeah.
With task stacking is taking the time and just kind of doubling up on whatever time you have left over in the moment to complete certain things.
Yeah. So it's being efficient with your time. Correct. So it's saying, I think yo, you know what? Let me just follow off of that. Like yesterday, I was task stacking like on them. Now, this wasn't necessarily the wisest thing, but anyway, simultaneously, I was doing a CPE, peer review of CPE. I did at least 2 meetings during the CPE while I was folding my clothes out the dryer, or simultaneously. It was crazy. And I was like, what am I doing, man? But it didn't feel like multitasking. It just felt like, yeah, I could do this. I was like, oh, well, this is passive, so I could go do this here. And it was ridiculous, man. Aside from the fact that I overbooked at least 2 times yesterday, double booked. It was ridiculous. It was out of control.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's calendar management. That's one of my next plateaus. Like
I've been going through that with some of the students, is managing the calendar.
Yeah, and let's talk about it. You talk about like nothing happened this week. Yo, you got a whole student group. Something happened. So
too, I have a student group, business owners, trying to get them to formulate their thoughts outside of their head onto paper into a business plan function. But also not just getting it out of their head, but being a part of being that business, being that plan, being that objective, being that goal, being that vision, being that mission, and then utilizing technology in the process.
Yeah.
Right. So
it's business therapy.
Biz therapy, right? Biz therapy.
So how's business therapy going? You be the spotlight.
It's going well. It's going really, really well. It's going really, really well.
What?
And what I mean well by this is the feedback that I get. There's again, it's the critical thinking component, and their feedback is, well, how was your work? How was your assignments? How was your time previous week? And it's like very challenging, and it made them think about certain perspectives of their business outside of what they generally thought of what the business is, right? Because they're technicians.
Mm-hmm.
But it's reflective in the work that they're doing or the assignments that they're doing. They're actually taking the initiative. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? Progress before perfection. And they're taking the initiative. Oh yeah, that's my little statement in my personal Gmail account.
Oh wow.
Progress before perfection, right?
No doubt.
So they're able to get within themselves and say, all right, let me go. This is challenging, but let me do it. And they're doing it. And if they have questions, they raise their hand or they email me, and then I kind of give them a little more motivation and push, but they're doing it. So that leads to, because we all have to start somewhere, right? And so biz therapy is saying, hey, it's okay. This business approach is therapeutic to the future of your business and yourself, your staff, and your family. Why? Because you're constantly leading the business. You're constantly have to figure out ways to get around and solve problems, right? Because a business is, yeah, everyone wants to say, hey, I'm a business owner and yeah, I made some money. That's not it. It's the business aspect is how do you handle risk? That that's the whole combination of business. How do you handle risk? How do you handle challenges and conflicts? So you got to have critical thinking. You have to have an understanding of conflict resolution. And because we're in the technology phase, having a basic understanding of technology and how to use it to help propel.
Yeah, without a doubt. So, since you started talking, we'll
Yeah.
just go through your
Why not?
yeah. So you touched on a couple of points there. And what I hear also resilience. But I think as one of the things I heard, but I think it would do good for those listening and viewing us to understand you know what it takes, even going from zero to the next step, zero revenue, pre-revenue or whatever. But even if you're at one revenue level and you're trying to get to the next, or whatever you measure success, number of customers, whatever you do, what would you say? I guess the soft stuff from what you're seeing in tutor, like what keeps someone from doing it? I guess is my thing. What stops them, or what do you see as roadblocks for them that are not about numbers or what they do, just personal characteristics of things they have to go through? What is it? How do they? What are the characteristics? What do you need to do to take your next steps? Because you got like a whole plan for that. So
Yeah, no doubt. I
yeah.
do that without giving away the sauce.
Yeah.
I would say the most critical piece of it is a SWOT analysis. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats.
Well, let me interject real quick. SWOT analysis for the business you're doing or for you, the proprietor?
So, great question, right? So when we look at a business plan and we're going to say, okay, we're going to write a business plan, and we have to start with usually it's executive summary, vision, mission. SWOT analysis is kind of buried in somewhere just above financial plan, marketing plan, so on and so forth, right? But the SWOT analysis is the most critical piece. And why I say that is because everyone assumes the SWOT analysis is about them, especially for the communities we serve. Because the business is so personal, bring it back to themselves and they write their SWOT about themselves, which is not a bad thing.
No,
but I flipped that to a whole nother tool.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But the SWOT analysis, once okay, so we'll allow you to get the I's, the I ams out in the SWOT. Right? Now we flip that SWOT, that I am, to this is what the business does. Why? Because the business is an extension of the individual, but based on the path of the business, there will be others in the business that will need to speak and carry themselves based off the SWOT analysis. Not saying SWOT, but it's the conversation, it's the brand, it's the value proposition, it's the product, it's the service, it's the customer experience, it's this and that. All of that is built into the SWOT. But before we could get there, let's figure out what that means. Right. Yeah. So I think for a lot of, because people, I talk to people every day, right? And they call us and they have questions, tax questions, they're running a business and it's always revolved around so on and so forth. And then I tie it back into my classes or my cohorts or my one-on-ones. And I think the most critical piece is understanding how to get out of your own way.
There you go. There you go. Can you expound on that? Getting out your own way. I know it's fair, it's obvious statement, but in practice, What does it look like?
So I would just say having had good habits, and what those habits are. Again, it starts with taking it out of your head and write it down. Because if it's not written down, it doesn't exist. Number one. Number two, when you write it down, you get to see it from an objective standpoint. You go, did I write that? Did that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And the other piece that is near and dear to my heart is recording myself and talking through certain things. And so that's an exercise that I give to the class, right? Talk about your SWOT, talk about your vision, talk about these things, and listen to yourself, and then see what revisions come about. Because at the end of the day, you're spending most of the time with yourself.
Very interesting. I mean, very important. I think the reason I kind of went down this questioning is because my week has touched on quite a few things you just mentioned. Like one of the CPEs I took that it was named not documented, not existing, or something like that. There's these recurring themes that come around. Being cognizant of your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and being brutally honest. Sometimes your threat can be you.
Big time.
You know what I'm saying? So when you're doing SWOT, I mean, you're looking at the business itself, the business, and can you be a threat to your own business?
Yeah, 100%. And that's what you got to deal with first. Because a lot of people deal on their strength. They'll lean on their strengths. Oh, I'm great at this. I'm weak at that. Right. And then, but the weakness and the threat is really one word: fear. And then when fear kicks in, what happens? We like go in the corner and fold.
Yeah. Well, I think it's fear and lack of understanding.
Big time, big time. Absolutely.
Like, and that's a circle unto itself.
Correct.
So you if you're scared because you don't understand, you try to understand, you don't understand, so you get scared. So you just keep going around this circle, and then all your moves are made out of fear, not out of planning.
FUD. We call it FUD.
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 What, FUD?
Yeah, FUD.
FUD.
Fear. That's the circle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
Yeah. Well, that is, that's the FUD circle.
It's the FUD circle.
Yeah. So many, just conversations I've had this week touched on this internal dialogue that I've had. Some of my other projects dealing with that I was somewhat, I mean, to be in business, you got to be brutally honest with yourself. And I feel like that's that's hard. It's hard to be brutally honest with yourself. It is difficult to separate separate yourself from your business. I've noticed that too. Very difficult.
Because it's so dear to you, because it boils down to how people view you.
Yeah.
And your money.
Yeah.
Right. And then the other piece is, who do you have around you that can remotely understand the vision of what you're talking about? And I think for most people, especially, again, I'm going to go, this happens to every and anyone. But again, more so for the communities we serve, judgment day comes.
Yeah.
And people pat you on your back, say, yeah, great job, but they may want you to fail, but they don't provide you with help and or support. Neither or.
No. You mean pray on your downfall. Very good.
Well, they may not even pray. Some, there's some people that do that, but there's some that probably don't even pray on it, but they really don't care two licks until there's some sort of gossip that comes behind it, right?
Yeah, or some benefit for them.
Correct, right? And then right, and then here's the other piece though. Your failure doesn't mean that you're a failure. That means that you just actually passed the test if you get the lesson out of it. and you know what to do next time.
See,
And now
that's what
you
I'm
do
talking
that
about.
even harder.
Biz therapy in the building. See, we're gonna turn it to Biz
So, like,
Therapy Saturday. That's
like,
it. This is a session.
it's a struggle. It's just you carrying a whole elephant up the hill with you on your
Yeah,
back, right?
yeah,
Every single day.
yeah.
And
That's
so,
true.
and then the other piece to that too, James,
Oh,
is
mm-hmm. Need to tighten my stuff up here. Yes.
is fear of technology too.
Oh, big fear.
Oh man.
And dismissing too.
Yes.
You know how it's like when you don't know how to do something
Yeah.
and it's whack. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. Man.
I ain't doing
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I
I'm
don't
a
do that.
paper and pen.
Yeah,
I'm a paper and pen guy. Yeah, I'm a paper and pen guy. That's how
yeah,
I come.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All
But
those computers,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah, 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 yeah. But here's the kicker though. You out in the world, and everybody goes through this. You out in the world, you in traffic, you go somewhere, you got to stay longer, you take your kids here, you got to sit your butt still until they done. I'm talking about any single, you on lunch break, you on it doesn't matter what it is. If you utilize a technology feature, you can pull it up on this device and you can review it, revise it, forward it, delegate it, and keep it moving.
Yeah,
Instead of waiting back to go, I got to go back to my notebook that I left at home, or let me write it on a piece of paper or a napkin, put it in my pocket, and it goes in the dirty clothes and get washed.
yeah. Not a good look there.
So we talking about now. We go back to task stacking.
Yeah, but you had to have a certain amount of organization to do that.
Yeah, correct.
And but you also have to have the intestinal fortitude because you most likely have to make changes in a lot of stuff to open yourself up to be able to do these things.
Yeah,
So
it's not easy, but it's going to be a journey, and you just gotta, that's why biz therapy just lays out all the fundamentals of that stuff for anybody. I mean, like even a 5-year-old can get how the formulation goes.
no, that's pretty good. That's sweet. That's a so since we in this office hours, we might just call it biz therapy office hour thing. It's pretty cool. It's a good episode. So let me ask you this. This is personal for me. How do you feel that many people starting businesses or trying to start businesses, how do you feel about this statement that their idea is too small?
Hmm.
Yeah. Hmm.
I understand what that looks like. I understand what it feels like. I understand what it sounds like. I understand what it reads like, because I think society, environment, culture, upbringing, education plays a part in the diminishing aspect of who we are as individuals,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? And so why biz therapy is so near and dear to me is I've been able to overcome myself in a lot of different ways. I mean, I've had and I have some great mentors and support. But ultimately the work begins and ends with me.
Yeah, you gotta do the work.
Self-belief, right?
Mhm.
So there's no idea too small at all.
Mhm.
I just saw an invention. I'm trying to remember why I'm talking. I just saw the craziest invention recently, and I can't even remember. I had to come back to it. But this invention was, I mean, it was so basic. I'm like, I could have thought of that, and it's $1 million product, and it has something to do with the kitchen, something with I don't remember what it like, something with bottles or something. I can't
Yeah,
really remember what it was, but it was so simple.
ain't useful. Yeah.
And it actually came out of the person's parent wasn't able to do something in the kitchen, and they just did something, and then boom, the idea they just went with it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And so I think we neglect the most critical part of ourselves that was given to us by the Creator, which is our intuition. We turn that thing down. That thing make a lot of noise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Your gut.
Yeah.
So, and it, but that's interesting. That's interesting take because when I asked the question, because that was like a three-pronged question.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, we getting three-dimensional now.
Mm-hmm.
So the way you answered it, things are, nothing is too small. Perfect answer. But for the other prong that exists, I think about it in terms of, I guess, setting out too small in terms of purpose and the way that it can manifest. So basically, in layman's terms, people going in to just create a job for themselves, or are they looking to take the mantle and make something that's going to be bigger than themselves at some point?
Yeah. So I think it's always about thinking big, right?
Mm,
Because you want to be able to help create opportunities and contribute to the economic development, right? And so that might be way too big for most people, but it's okay to think that big. And then you can once you get somewhere to help kind of expand on that, you may get to a point and say, you know what, I'm comfortable staying in this lane right here.
yeah, no, definitely nothing
But
wrong.
even with that, you still sparking a thinking big approach because someone is going to want to come and sit at your feet as the student to learn what you know.
Yeah, true indeed.
So the idea, so to answer you, the objective is not to go from a regular job to create another job, and you're doing it by yourself, and you just kind of on
Spinning wheels.
yeah,
Yeah.
because at that point you don't have a safety net. So you could be doing production and everything else, but you still need to have the thinking forward approach to bring in new business and to handle current business because
Mm,
your retention is 80% of your client base,
that's true.
right?
And
And so client acquisition is expensive and is long.
hmm but that's it. So if you do, well, that leads into my e-myth discussions for the week. Um, and e-myth is becoming an umbrella for it. Those of us that are study business books and study stuff in entrepreneurship, like e-myth has become this catch term, this thing, which is genius by itself in a business thing, because he took a brand, e-myth, biz therapy, and now e-myth is a thing. It's a noun now. It's like an actual thing. We say, oh, it's e-myth.
Correct.
So, but what I was saying is that it's trying to understand that you have the opportunity, if you start in a small business, you have the opportunity to do so much community wise and whatever your community is. I'm not talking about a general, it could be the 100 people
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You got such an opportunity in a country that measures itself on capital and what you attain of capital. I just honestly believe, the small businesses, you have such an opportunity to do things um that they're not measured in money, but money is a factor, but they have such you can do so many things. And I think what I was getting at thinking small was that the natural inclination is to do it to make a living, but that's kind of like default. We got to make a living. You know what I'm saying? If the currency was smiles and handshakes, some of us would be richer than those of us that are doing well now. So the currency is money. That's how we assign value to things based on dollar bills.
Mm-hmm.
So and it costs to have place to live, place, eat, shelter, the whole nine.
Mm-hmm.
But the next level that I think is right below the surface, but I don't know if it gets touched, is thinking of yourself as impactful business.
Yeah,
Even
that's
when you're solo, even when you by yourself. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
Like, for as we say, the community we serve, there's been a lot of business success in our communities, but we talk more about what hasn't happened
Correct.
or what happened to the business we had.
Correct.
Okay. But, and which is fine. You gotta understand that. But the opportunity to step in and take his place, there's a shoulder to do that. Like if we look at Tulsa and we look at Paris Street here, I mean, we don't Jim Crow. I mean, it was like segregation. Doesn't diminish it at all. But there was a constraint that that creativity blossomed out of the constraint. And my pops always used to say this, that not saying, it's like with desegregation had an economic effect
Mm-hmm.
on black owned businesses, like
Mm-hmm.
just did. Now
Mm-hmm.
I could go over here and get so and so's, it's all good. I gotta go in, the back or whatever. So like, hey, whatever,
Right.
desegregation. So now, as we celebrate those things in the current, we have a different social and economic reality. Um, and I'm not trying to use any hyperbole because I think a lot of these movements they come in hyperbole, but the things we can do as business owners and the role that we have to play is different, and the opportunity is there to do it. So when you going to open something, and where I'm bringing this back to the biz therapy, because one of the positives about it is that where do you get to discuss this? So where do you sit down and say, well, I'm opening this, and I use my man, SC House of Wings, South Carolina, right? Darlington, South Carolina, small town. Okay. Took a building that was abandoned. I don't know if it was 10, 15, 20 years. Put a restaurant in there. The restaurant is successful, from the fact that it's 3 years and it's still there. The insides, we got to work a little bit on the insides, but it's all good. The chicken is great. Don't worry. It don't affect the food. So it's like that. But the impact it has, you creating jobs. Creating jobs in a building that was vacant. You created jobs. You put economic vitality in the place. You're creating a cycle. You're starting to build a ecosystem.
A synergy of energy are floating around in that area too, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but often that happens unintentionally.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is that when I say thinking bigger, what if we thought about that intentionally? We start a business and the altruistic reasons. We said, well, you know what, man, I'm gonna start this thing. Year 1, 2, I might not be it, but I want to create jobs. That's what I want to do. I mean, I want to do business, be successful, but I want to create jobs. In putting that into your business plan, build it into the culture what you're doing. I want to create jobs. I want to provide internships. I want to, work with the schools. I know how to do this. We know is an issue. Everything we have is go to college and so on and so forth. Great thing. But man, in those great economies that we were talking about, early 20th century, it was a lot of apprenticeships. People would apprentice, but they wasn't going to school. So they were learning how to do something
Mm-hmm.
before they got older and went whatever. So some of this stuff is like it is out there. Now we got the hype, support this business, boy, all that. But on the back, I ain't gonna go really on my support because I got to say about that. That's got to be on private. I can't do that. I can't do it. We're staying positive today. But what I'm trying to say is in thinking bigger, and I think where biz therapy can help is because you don't have any space to have this conversation. Like, we've said this over and over. All businesses are family businesses. Your family are your shareholders. And if it's just, one person, 3 people, 6 people, 8 people, those are your shareholders because that's who you trying to feed. All right. So even in the corporate world, your shareholders, they ain't too forgiving. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I hear all these problems, and what they do with public companies. Yeah, the CEO got all these excuses. Guess what? The CEO's gone. Hey, see you. All right. So, but you ain't going nowhere. So, you got this level of pressure. So when you come in with ideas and concepts, that's not necessarily the best place for you to have the conversation, especially after you get started and you doing it 24/7. Your family ain't in it. They ain't in it like that. So where do I go to even, I have these great ideas to unpack them. I mean, you got Score. I mean, you got places to go, but it's going to be clinical. It's just
and so that's that. And so you're right in a lot of ways. And I'm gonna go back to your first thought process. I think it's understanding how to break away from the employee mentality. Because as a business owner, you become a business owner. It's about serving people.
Mm-hmm.
You're serving employees. You're serving communities. You're serving customers, clients. It's about service. And then there's a whole lot of waves of service.
Mm-hmm.
To people that don't know, to people that have some sort of understanding but not clear, ego, pride. Somebody told me to do this. Google. It's a whole lot of information. So you gotta
show me.
Yes, you gotta structure your whole concept behind that. However, biz therapy is the place for us to have that conversation. Bring your thoughts, your ideas. We're gonna listen to it. We're gonna listen to it. But then we're gonna say, okay, let's document this and let's actually break it out. And then what action steps you need to take. We're gonna put it into a workflow and you're gonna execute with a milestone and let's see where we go from there.
Beautiful. And and that's the power. That's the power of what's being designed there to make it a safe space, really.
Yeah, because you can. So again, for me, if I'm not able to communicate how I see things and my understanding and my experience, I can't better the business, the vision, the mission, the serving of people, because you got to mask it because life gets in the way. Period. Life gets right. And what do we know that's scientifically proven? When emotions arise, logic is down. Right?
Yeah.
That's why they count to 10. You might got to count to 15 or 20, and so it balances itself out. That's
count a couple of days for me.
Yeah, well, some people more or less. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So biz therapy, when you join me at biz therapy, you join us at biz therapy, you already coming in with what has happened, what's going on. Let's get that off your chest. What are your challenges? What have been your challenges? Right? What wins did you have? What losses did you have? Because a lot of times we put a figment into our mind and think it's this, when in actuality it's not. Now, once we clear that garbage out, we can now move on to the next phase and get down to really what we need to do. And then by the end of that journey, you walk away with 2 tangible things that now allows you to focus on your development and the business. And now you have a tool, you have a framework, and you continue to go. And then you could rinse and repeat that when you want to train people. or put people in place or have a
Yep.
conversation with investors or banks or this, that, and the third. Make sense? So
I don't, you know, it don't make sense to me.
yeah, of course. But yeah, so biz therapy is you know, come on, bring it. Come on and bring it. There's no conversation that's too hard. There's no problem too hard because there's everything can be solved. It's how do we begin to craft the thought process of self to others, and that's really what that is.
Yeah. Well, that's this is interesting as we having a freestyle open office hours right here. Um, I got something. I'm gonna put this up on the screen. What's going on? Oh, here we go. So let's see if this comes on. If this takes our question off the screen, it might. We got to take the question off. But this is good because it's getting to, we got certain times during the week and certain things have come up. And, you know, the emotional and mental strain and physical strain of running something um is not to be minimized.
No.
So, it's kind of like, man, it's time. So you just like, man, what am I doing? Why am I? It's like, what's the point, man? Like, why are we doing this?
Struggle
Um,
bus.
yeah,
Struggle bus.
yeah, you messed up. So you like, yo. So it's trying to get back to these things. Few minutes, getting back to what got you excited in the first place, and being able to keep yourself there, or take that enthusiasm on what's in front of you. You might have a fear of something. So how can we get excited about overcoming the fear or correcting the environment from which the fears come? Um, I was just on the phone talking, and I was like, new ideas. Look, I'm no scientist at all, but you get a shot of dopamine when you got a new idea, a new concept. Whoa, this is, you get hype about it. Then you get in the middle of it and it kind of comes down. And then every little thing that might be a little challenging, you get a little bit less and less, and then whatever. And then guess what you do? You find something new. So so having a space like a biz therapy or what we do here with this live stream, it's all about conversation about small business, because I don't think I look at what's out there, and I don't know if I don't see a lot of vulnerability in what people are saying, and I think that misleads when it goes, if you start a nonprofit, but it doesn't matter. I think it misleads people to an extent. I think it's, and I don't say it to say mislead you in terms of you fooling yourself to think you could do it. It's more like misleading, like, man, I might be showing you a hill, but there's a mountain behind it, and you can only see the hill because the tree line starts there. And then
Right.
after you get through the tree line, it's like a 90-degree incline. But I'm up here telling you, oh, yeah, you can get up the hill. It's not a problem. You go there. And
Mm-hmm.
never said that, look, man, look, without it being tragic, without, I had, XYZ in life. I started a business and this is how it went down. And look, this may or may not happen to you, but there's a good chance it's going to happen to you. And this is how I'm still here. Got through. Yo, you going to face adversity. And the way you deal with adversity on a daily basis is what helps. So that's why I think when we saw into the therapy part, because if you a solo owner too, you ain't got no water cooler. You know nobody, and who you want to talk about? It's your job, man.
I think a lot of people don't know what the water cooler is, where you stand around and you just talk a
Oh, yeah.
bunch of stuff. A
I
bunch
guess
of
they don't do that no more, huh?
I don't. I mean, nah, they probably chatting it. You know, like G
Yeah,
chatters.
they go and chat around in somebody's cubicle or something.
You know what I mean?
But the theory is, okay, you stand around, so you don't have someone, and then when you meet somebody, you go out there, they talk about, well, what do you do? I own a business. It's like, you know, you're not going to get, unless it's another business owner, you're not going to start busting down margins or something at the dinner table and saying, yeah, well, the way I was looking at so and so and that, you're not going to do it. I mean, they'd be like, they won't invite you back anymore. So the point is, having a place like this, and that is a great use for biz therapy, because the emotional part, the doubt, the fear, the I don't know what I'm doing, all that, there's no place for it to get released.
I'm telling you, that's like the biggest. Man, you know, we talk all every day, all day, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And
We know each other. Yeah.
it's 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 like, I was under the weather yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
but I had a few things that I needed to tackle, and I pushed through it as best as I can, and um, and then I went and sat down somewhere for a minute
Yeah. Yeah.
because, but that's even the emotional struggle, because it's not like you could punch the clock and go, somebody else could take care of that for me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all you,
You know?
buddy. That's
Right.
it.
So, you're right. You can't, the emotional piece, it's the emotional capital. So we need emotional intelligence, and we need to understand how to spend emotional capital,
Yeah.
because everything that seems to be emotional doesn't need a reaction to the emotional. So you spend that emotional capital and you deplete your emotional intelligence. So what we do is we create a framework where you could get that stuff out of you. Let it to get it into the ether, right?
Yeah.
Burn off some gas, burn off
Mm-hmm.
some rain. It rained, let the sun come out, get it off your chest. Now we can get back to why you're doing what you're doing and how do you do it? How do you move forward, right?
Yeah. And as I said, this is just a kind of an open thing. I've touched this a bit this week, both personally and talking and speaking with others. And, you know, um, there's a low period. There's times where you feel like it ain't working. There's
Yeah.
times where,
You want to
you
give
know,
up.
without disclosing too much, there's
Yeah.
times where people try your patience.
Yeah.
There's
Oh,
times where people disrespect you professionally and not even maliciously. They don't
yeah.
even know they disrespecting you.
Or they, or
But
they, they have an idea, but they may not
yeah,
pay attention to the impact,
yeah.
right?
Or they got such hubris that, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, okay,
You
whatever.
start questioning yourself, like, why am I doing this?
Yeah. So then you start saying, man, and I know personally, and this is what I talk about, the vulnerability. You know, on social media, I could be like, yeah, yo, I'm, this and that, we're gonna get that 40K, you know what I'm saying? Maybe like that. I'll probably take like $2. Yeah, I got $2, But and you could be whatever you want to be on here.
Mhm.
That's just, I mean, the lighting is cheap, the cameras are cheap, all that's cheap. But to really tell a story and understand that I love being in business. I love working with businesses. Do I love every aspect of dealing with it? No. Are there times where I'm like, what? Are there times where I'm like hysterically like, what? Like, did this just really happen? Like, I can't believe it. It's times I feel like disrespected.
Yeah.
There's
Overwhelmed,
times I feel petty.
or
But but it's
stress.
getting back to that central thing, to the
Yeah.
point, like why I'm doing this. And that can be in your business plan and the other document that comes out of biz therapy, or your purpose. Yeah, because I tell you straight up right now, I'm in one of them low, and I think it's partially because my birthday coming up. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that joint is out there. I'm like, what's the point? Like, it's just like, what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
Because, and it's no what the point on one thing. It's just
Mm-hmm.
that, like, there's always something. So you like, you know what? Like that.
Plus, your birthday is around the seasonal change, and what comes
Oh yeah.
season. Every people don't realize
Yeah.
gravity is not nothing to play with.
No, definitely not.
And so when
Especially if it's affecting
change,
your body
you don't
mass.
realize. See, it's all and see. This is again. I won't go too crazy, but for me, it's not what you see; it's what you don't see. That is the prime factor. And
Yeah.
you gotta be kind. You gotta try to put yourself in a position to be conscious and aware of those things because there's cause and effect, right? Energy doesn't dissipate; it just transition. It moves. It goes from one place to another. And believe it or not, it could go through this computer. You could feel energy through this computer. I don't have to be in your presence,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
so with that, in mind, now because I know you know how to take a step back and take stock.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and but it's from training. It's a self-discipline
A
training.
muscle, bro. It's a
Yeah.
muscle.
And it also comes from understanding that, I refrain from using, we're small and all that other stuff. But
Yeah.
from my purview and where I'm coming, coming up with my pops deal and all that, I mean, we huge compared to that, just in number of people. And then you start creating accountabilities. So that's when you start that separation from yourself and the business.
Then you got me calling you, talking,
Yeah.
cracking jokes, and like you don't even. I don't even give you time to think about yourself, man.
Oh yeah, no. But I don't. And but here's the thing too, that I really don't take myself that as seriously. Like I think because I know, and I think that does cause sometimes a thing people don't realize, like especially in finance or tax or something like that. When people come in the door, they like uber serious and I've got this problem. And me being around it so much, I'm like, yo, dude, this, the sun's gonna come up tomorrow. Right? It's okay. Like, I mean, like it's money, but it's money, man. Like I would say it all through COVID. People like, oh, how you doing? Woe is me and all that. I'm like, yo, it's people on ventilators, man. Like, it ain't guaranteed to be coming up off them ventilators. And you talking about, well, I'm tired of being stuck in the house with all my cable and my super fast internet and
I mean, but
groceries being brought to my house.
you got people on ventilators, and you got people doing 23 hours in a 2x2.
Yeah.
Now,
Like,
and they can't even do nothing else.
yeah. So you be like, so when you start building that stuff in, it makes you be like, well, I got a situation. It ain't cool. I don't like it.
Yeah,
It ain't gonna happen again.
true.
And it puts in perspective. So, I just figured we do a little biz therapy infomercial today and say, but understanding what it's about. And I think also is to give some understanding of what our firm is about and where we're headed for sure. Really in an advisory space. And one thing about advising is you have to understand the person you're advising. And you have to understand yourself. I can give you advice, but it's from my purview. It's not not the only way or whatever. But you come to me, say, look, this is how I see the world. This is what I suggest you do.
Mm-hmm.
And you do this and do that. And from my standpoint, it's because we understand you. I mean, like I said, I think I said it somewhere else. But the first year is difficult because we don't know you. So I think I said it last stream. But it's getting to know you. And we I ain't trying to make this manifesto Saturday. But it's getting to know you but I will say that for biz therapy and for some of the things we have coming from the firm, we're going to make some changes in the way that we present in terms of how we bring people along. um you know we gotta get ourselves, I mean, look, we're the professionals. As I say, I'm a professional pro act, man. Like, is we come in and we do this stuff. We talk about this. Like, this right here is like regular conversations, so I mean, I ain't got no I ain't got no crazy life. You know what I'm saying? It's just like this. This is what we talk about. We consume with it. And our goal is to share that, to empower. Overused term, by the way, but anyway, empower. I might get some flashback. I'm just saying, people like, yeah, empowered. Like, you empowered to do what? But anyway, wrong show for that. But it's really to empower, I'll use it, and to help people down the path. And we're seeing things out here. We're connecting dots. That's what we're doing. Trying to connect dots. May not be on your time. May not be the way you thought it should be done. May not cost what you think it should cost. But that's what we're doing.
Well,
We're
that's
connecting.
the foundation, though. So for me, it's foundation, creating a foundation, right?
Yeah.
Connecting all of that, but create a foundation, you could build all the way up, right? So,
it's critical.
yeah,
And it's not, and that's what I'm saying. Like, business is a full contact sport.
big time,
Full contact.
all day.
And in order to succeed, you need resources. You need people. I'm here to tell you, didn't used to think like that, especially when I was younger. I was just operating on adrenaline and dreams of being a millionaire. That, but to understand, you need resources. Everybody ain't for everybody, but you need resources. So when you come to a place like here, the collective, big shouts to ATR. I don't know if he's trolling us right now, but big shouts to him. You're dealing with people, Katie. Give a shout to Katie Jean. I'm gonna say I'm giving shout outs, man. You're dealing with people who take their resources to care about you. Like, forget the technical aspect. Core Franklin, they care about you because the work that's done to even think about you, to deal with this, when they're not sitting in front of you, they're still thinking about you.
Correct. Thoughtfulness, mindfulness, appreciation.
Yeah. Considering you.
Correct.
Saying this, and that. And, that's a value of the practitioners I know, or whatever, that even when, your stuff is filed and you gone or whatever, for you, you're done. People still thinking about you. They ain't being compensated for it. They thinking about you. So that when you do re-engage, oh yeah, I know so-and-so. Because we out here
in our technology place.
Yeah.
So we don't remember it.
You don't have to remember it. Yeah, that's the next level. But what I'm saying is just we working on that one. It's always a new challenge.
So they can understand the tech.
Yeah, but you put in stuff. That's what the CRM system is about.
Correct.
And you have it, but it's because of some of the week's activities and me being on a mission that I'm going to lay low. I know we coming up on top of the hour. We at top of the hour, so I'm not going to go crazy. We kept petty in the corner, all right? But what I'm saying is that, don't doubt. I mean, I don't know. It's not that I have to say this happens, but look, when you have people that are working, like over here, I'm going to stay over here. We really serious about this stuff. And I mean, serious, as you can see. I mean, we were serious about this stuff. And it's understanding the human aspect of doing business. And it's not I do everything right. Everything ain't gonna be right. Everything is not going to be right. I'm gonna look dead in this camera and tell you everything is not going to be just right. It's not gonna be perfect. There's nothing you can do. Ain't gonna happen. All right. So you gotta work with people that know how to navigate imperfection.
Correct.
And I just felt like saying that, it's there's levels. Some people care, some people know how to do it. Some people just get it done for a check. And you know, I mean, I just wanted to say that. That's all.
Communicate if you're a transactional individual. If you're transactional and you want to stay transactional, that's fine. But if you what we doing this it's about sustainability. Remember that.
Yeah,
When you go and look at these big corporations, don't people look at the criminal aspect of them. All right, yeah, we get it. Or the fallacies, okay, yeah, we get it.
yeah,
But it's the sustainability that is important. It's they're around for a long time, and don't think that they, as big as they are, they don't have small and huge problems.
yeah.
A lot of times their small problems build up into hugeness. But when you come here, it's really we just trying to help create a sustainability aspect. That's
Yeah,
what's important for us.
yeah. I mean, all that 3 to 5 years, or most businesses don't last 5 years, and all that. Those are historical facts.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is for you: if you starting something, don't use that as your barometer. Oh God, I'm making it. Your barometer is how well you operate, the systems you create and you operate. And next thing you know, it'd be 7 years, and you're like, oh, I'm still here.
Mm-hmm.
So, but in order to have that, you got to have partners, and you have to have resources to that follow that line of thinking and that are there for you. And since we're doing infomercials,
If
I
my
got
man said, I don't have problems. I have people.
oh boy. Yeah, well, there you go. That's true. I mean, it's true. Got people that handle stuff problems you build, but that's it's just a few things that I keep saying it, that look, that the week kind of made that transpire, to be like, look, there's a human aspect to this thing, and as I said, you could get caught up in some of the content, because a lot of content is hyperbole. It's rah-rah. It's talking. It's telling you, it's whatever. I'm not even gonna spend time on it. But the vulnerability to be like, man, you're gonna be scared. Your first hire, you're gonna be terrified. You're gonna be like, man, how am I gonna pay this person? I ain't even paying me. How many? It's gonna go down. You're gonna be like, yeah, that may not be the first paycheck, but at some point you're gonna have, it's gonna be a cash shortage. You're gonna be like, I don't know what you do. I look, saying this is what I'm saying. We get more personal in 22.
Yeah. We over the top of the hour right
Yeah, we over the top of the hour. But this is the last thing I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say this, then I'm done. I'm finished. Plus Duke just kicked off. I gotta go check that out. So look, I hired 2 people. I want to say May of 2013. First 2 people. And to this day, got more people now, contracts, whatever. I have no idea how I was able to pay them. Like zero. And I'm not joking. Like I had no idea how I was gonna pay them. I was like, I wasn't like crazy out there, but I just did not. I wasn't comfortable with foreseeing that. Like, I didn't have a year of their salary in the bank and whatever did it. I was like, man, I'm gonna have to get this, do that, blah blah, eat tuna every day, which is not bad, but I didn't know. From that time to now, I mean, ain't missed the payroll. Still don't know how, but it's like mind blowing to me. I'm just sitting there like, how did this happen? Like, I don't, but it's still, with all that being said, still down in his gut. You're like, well, it could happen. And so it's, that's like 9 years ago. And I'm still like, I don't know how to help. I mean, I don't know how to pay these people. I be sitting there and I'm just like, this, like,
because failure
so
is not an option, right? So
yeah,
and
I mean, but
you have your structure. So even with that feeling that you still have a structure in which you operate to make sure that you sustain. And that, I think, if I'm listening to you correctly, that's really where you're going with this. The feelings are never going to go away, but you can actually help to justify what's real and what's not real because you have a system, you have a framework, and you have a path forward. You have a way forward that allow you to sustain the business and still provide and grow. Correct?
Yeah. And that's it. But there's the other part, and I promise you, I'll close on this. The other part is remembering me in 2013. I didn't have no structure, I had nothing. So
never
if I went to that, I wouldn't have done it. I would have been like, oh no. Right. And I had waited long enough. When I first started, I had no intentions of ever hiring anybody.
Right.
Like I was like, oh, I'll do my little thing, from the crib and do whatever. And then it became where I was like, well, I can't provide the service level that I want to.
Just only
on my own. Yeah. So I had no idea. And not like that's what I'm saying. Had intended to hire one person, found two terrific people, hired both of them. Had no idea I was gonna pay one and pay my bills. But here I go, I hired two. It worked out, but it could have not have. But I made the decision under the pretense it was gonna work. Because back to the failure is an option. It was going to work. Like I was going to, at that time, I would be willing. I was considering going to get a job if I had to be able to pay my people to keep the thing moving forward. Now, that's a whole nother level of the game. And that's, but you can check it all at the address down at the bottom, biztherapy.info. So you get some time with Brother Kory. I may pop in every now and then with some ridiculousness in my, like my bathrobe with some slippers. Like, hey, how y'all doing? So that's that, man. But yeah, we good. This has been the Haywood CPA Live, out of control stream, and this was out of control, man. Like, so we gonna put this up here. Look, moving forward, we need you to send your questions about business to hello@haywoodcpa.com. Just put live in the subject. We need you, if you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe and hit the bell so you're alerted when we put some more new content out there. I think we're on the LinkedIn live stream. Click like, give us some comments. And right now we posting up on my personal Facebook feed. I was trying something. We syndicated to the page later. But and I believe we're on Twitter too. Like we just straight up on Twitter, like your feed. See this picture right here, these two guys. Serious, something serious. I'm like, man. They're like, wait a minute. Haywood CPA. Wait, hey, wait, who are these guys? So I don't know who this is. So, but yes. But once again, we appreciate you spending your Saturday morning or whenever you're watching this with us. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you didn't know what the heck we were talking about. So that happens. That's not on you. It's on us. So, you just enjoying the sounds, do that. But it's all good. So y'all have a wonderful rest of your September. We see you in 2 weeks.
Peace.
Peace.